Hey girl, I'm talking to you. She always brings her blanket when it's time to snuggle.
Going in! 3, 2, 1, go!
Okay, it is Monday. I got a haircut. Also did not run or do anything today that was athletic. Right, Scout? But I got a haircut, so that's exciting. And I'm just holding my GoPro and I don't have a tripod or anything. Dad borrowed my tripod, so we're gonna try to do this with just one hand. Day 35, we're in the last week of Run with Nicky. Day 35, Psalm 90, verse 12, teach us to realize the brevity of life so that we may grow in wisdom. Wisdom comes in knowing our limits, remembering our time is limited, provides us with the wisdom on how to spend our time. This life is a vapor that quickly fades. Then what? Eternity is a reality. In order to run our race with enduring faith, we need to be aware of apathy, carelessness, and spiritual drowsiness. I know all the things you do and that you have a reputation for being alive, but you are dead. Wake up, strengthen what little remains, for even what is left is almost dead. And that's from Revelation chapter 3. The distractions in our lives rob us of the hearing, seeing, and knowing, truly being rooted in God's word and will. We need to pray and ask God for wisdom to account for our time. We cannot know what tomorrow will bring. Key for me, we cannot know what tomorrow will bring, so don't worry about it. Also, I definitely struggle with distractions. I find all the time in church, mind just wanders. So, yeah, I understand the distraction thing for sure. Right, Sadie? She gets distracted easily. Yep. So tomorrow is going to be hopefully a fun day for vlogging purposes. I think our cousin Maddie, little Maddie, might be coming over. It's so exciting. I don't know if Maddie's ever been on the channel, but she will be if she comes over tomorrow. So see you on Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Maddie, our little Maddie, is going to come over to visit Sadie this afternoon. My grand plan was to go out to our high school track this morning because they're on spring break and to do my next workout for my 5K training plan, but I think I'm gonna have to put that plan to bed. My ankle has it's just been nagging. It doesn't necessarily hurt while I'm running like on the treadmill, but it's keeping me up at night, so I'm not good at being hurt, I've decided, but I'm going to do low to no impact for the next couple of days because I want to be able to run with my friend when we go to Lynchburg, just to do a nice little easy run around town because it's fun to run in a new place. So I'm on my way to our gym to either bike or elliptical. I would prefer the elliptical, but it's a really small gym, so if the ellipticals are taken, I'll ride the bike. I just have to do something. I fall into that very probably common category of if I'm not doing anything, I just feel like I'm losing all the work that I've done, even if it's just a day. So, which I know is not true. But I think maybe I tried to push too hard after rolling it because it's been about a month and it still has moments where it hurts pretty good. So we'll go do some elliptical. About this whole elliptical thing. I have the hardest time on a bike or an elliptical getting my heart rate up. I don't know if maybe I'm not doing it right because I don't do it that often or what, but so that was a little frustrating. But hey, I'm wearing Moana Princess today. So we'll improve our mood by watching puppies play together, so enjoy. Here they go! guys have fun? Did you guys have fun? Okay. This is not the best light, but that's okay. As you just saw, today's Wednesday. Just did a couple miles walking on the treadmill, trying out, actually walking at a steady, pretty good clip with the ankle brace. I don't know if the ankle brace is going to work out. I know it has to do with that strap that wraps around my ankle. I just got to make sure I'm doing it right so it doesn't kill my foot while I'm walking. But we'll figure it out. Tomorrow, taking the dogs to the kennel before our little Lynchburg trip. And that noise you hear, by the way, is Sadie chewing on a bone. Taking them to the kennel, and then I'm going to go to the gym and try the elliptical again. The common suggestion to get my heart rate up was to increase the resistance. So we're going to try that. So I'm going to do a little run with Nicky, and I'm holding my Osmo Pocket, so we're doing this one-handed again. All right. Day 36, Psalm 51:17. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit. A broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise. There is one thing that all of humanity shares in common. Apart from God, we are all broken. The kingdom of heaven belongs to the poor in spirit. The one with a contrite heart admits their mistakes and failures and aren't afraid to ask for help. This beatitude runs in direct contrast to the principles of an affluent society that favors the strong, the self-assertive, the wealthy, and the intellectual. Jesus made a foundational declaration in his Sermon on the Mount. The blessings of God are only available to those who recognize their brokenness. And she has a quote in here by Nancy Lee DeMoss. Jesus said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." Contrary to what we would expect, brokenness is the pathway to blessing. There are no alternative routes. There are no shortcuts. The very thing we dread and are tempted to resist is actually the means to God's greatest blessings in our lives. I think that's true. I think that I've said it before, we're created for relationship, and so we're created to, it's hard, I'm trying to think of a good way to say it. I mean, God created us to be in a relationship with him. We're created to need him. And that's where we find, I think, the most fulfilling life is when we place our trust and, give our needs to him, if that all makes sense. Okay, day 37. She does the Ecclesiastes chapter 3, the first 8 verses in here. I'm not going to read all, it's a pretty long, I won't read the whole thing, but the first verse. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. And she says that in that verses 1 through 8 describes 28 different seasons of life, and only one thing is guaranteed, I can't talk. Change is absolute. Who hates change besides me? Not a huge fan of change. Little changes I can deal with, but sometimes big changes kind of get me a little. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11 says, I love this verse, "He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men. Yet they cannot fathom what God has done from the beginning to the end." God provides in each season for us, and that we are always, especially when we don't feel like we are, that we are cherished and being brought to resurrection. And this quote, a lot of people probably heard this quote because I know I've heard it, by Corrie ten Boom. "Never be afraid to trust an unknown future to a known God." That's a good verse just to print or write and stick it everywhere. If you're someone like me who does not like the unknown, like I said, little things I can deal with, but big unknown things, sometimes it's hard for me to handle. But that's an excellent quote, especially from someone like Corrie ten Boom. If you've have never read her story, The Hiding Place, or I think they made a movie, but do research on her because her story is absolutely amazing. Love her, Corrie ten Boom. One other thing I meant to actually say before I did all that, today, Wednesday, was St Jude Half Marathon registration for those of us that are doing big fundraising goals. So my sister and I, we are officially registered as a team called the Granddaughters, and we are fundraising in memory of Granddaddy, who, you know, just recently passed away. And then one of our other grandparents, Bila, she passed away this past October. But both were big supporters of St. Jude. So when which I hadn't known that about Bila, but when I read it in her obituary, that's where I got the idea to run St. Jude Half Marathon in their memory. Well, originally it was just her, and then, anyway, Granddaddy passed away recently, so we added him to the list. So we're running in their honor and memory. So I will be putting links in YouTube descriptions. The links will be on Instagram. You can find the link if you would like to donate to our fundraising goal. That'd be great. And if the race is in December, so I got plenty of time between now and December, I'll try to come up with a fun giveaway to do like I did for my last Kelsey's Hope run. So tomorrow, Thursday, like I said, I'm going to go to the gym. We'll see how the elliptical goes, and we will show a little bit of Lynchburg. I'm excited for that. We're going to try to go for a quick run before we go to the distillery, but I will be sharing all of that, of course. So we'll see you Thursday. It's going to be a long 2 days. We are almost to Lynchburg, I can't talk, which is exciting. And my husband is teasing me, but I wanted to do our devotion for today before we got there. And as a side note, the elliptical went way better this morning. I increased the resistance per Instagram suggestion, and that did the trick for getting my heart rate up. But day 38, our verse is Hebrews chapter 10, verse 23. Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. In 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 12, Paul wrote, fight the good fight of faith. According to this verse, the path of faith often requires a fight to see it through to completion. And I'm sorry if you hear a little directional lady in the background there. When we step out to do something by faith, it often pushes us into the good fight. It throws us into some type of agony, anguish, conflict, pain, distress, or a struggle. But rather than shrink from the match that is before us, the Apostle Paul urges us to give this fight our best effort. Page turn. She added a quote by Francis Grandpane. I probably didn't say that right. Let us approach these days expecting to see the goodness of the Lord manifest. Let us be strong and of good courage, for the Lord will fight for us if we stand in faith. Yes. Hard thing to do, I think, sometimes when we face really scary things. So I'm excited. I'll share a little bit of scenery from Lynchburg, and yes, so enjoy. So we drove back from Lynchburg early this morning. I hope you enjoyed the few video clips. It's a fun little town. Really, it's just a day thing. So these little nice days. The Airbnb, I didn't take any pictures or video or anything of the Airbnb that we stayed in, but I'll leave a link for it in the description because it was a really great house right off the square. We could walk everywhere, which would have been a little bit better if it hadn't been so cold and rainy. But waiting for me when I got back is a little bit of magic mail from Shop Disney. So I'm going to break this open real quick and show you. I ordered a couple of things for, wow, this shirt looks ginormous. Sizing for Disney is very, very weird. Okay, so I ordered an extra small of the shirt. It really does not look like an extra small. Maybe it does, I don't know. But anyway, I got this Disney 100 shirt. I figure I'll wear this maybe on my first Disneyland park day. This really does look, it's probably gonna swallow me. I don't know. We'll see. And then I also ordered, there's such inconsistency with Disney sizing. Now this I think is an actual, that was a unisex shirt, so this should be a little bit more consistent. This is a small, and I think it's a women's shirt. Yeah, that doesn't look terrible. There's Mickey on it. Got the Disneyland D, got Disneyland down the sleeve. Says Disneyland Resort. One of these two things, I forget which one, it may have been this pink shirt, was on sale, and that's what sparked the shopping. So I got a couple of things to wear that I wanted a couple of Disneyland things to wear out there, and I know I'm gonna get race shirts and stuff, so we'll try those on. Disney sizing is so weird. That's why I prefer to be able to try things on, but hey, most of that was on sale. All right, we got our last 2 days. Hopefully I get this video up on Easter, but if not, it'll be the day after. But we got our last 2 days of Run with Nicky. Day 39, in Matthew chapter 14, verse 22. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. It's human nature to choose the path of least resistance, the easy way out, and to stay safe in our comfort zone. Comfort zones are tricky. Comfort feels safe, when in all reality it can be a hindrance that is robbing you of the ability to move or make a change. The thought of leaving triggers fears and doubts that paralyze our progress. Sooner or later, we all get the call to action. Something inside is telling us that we are not born to be comfortable. At that point, you have two options: honor the call and step out of the boat, or keep convincing yourself that you're perfectly well as you are. God is eager to do a new thing. New often requires a leaving of the old, which means change. So when I wrote down at the bottom, right when I read that verse at the beginning, it made me think of the very end of the latest of season 3 of The Chosen. And I'm sorry, spoiler coming up for season 3, because there's no way I cannot talk about it. But the end of season 3, they do the walking on the water scene, and that was the last episode. Yes, pretty sure. It's all running together. But anyway, and the way that they brought it into the storyline was that Simon Peter and his wife had lost a child, and so he was struggling with, why didn't Jesus help my wife, and blah, 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 blah. So during the whole conversation between when Peter is in the boat and coming towards Jesus, and Jesus calls him out and all that, Simon Peter is saying, why didn't you help Eden? And he said, these trials are meant to strengthen you, to help you grow. And so that's probably what I will consistently think of whenever I read about that walking on the water story from now until eternity. And that goes directly with a running journey. You can stay, with your 5K and not really push yourself. And and there is nothing wrong, like if you are a walker, runner, there's nothing wrong with, being very happy of where you are. But I know for me, if I hadn't stepped out of my comfort zone, if you had asked me when I first started running if I ever thought I'd do a marathon, I would have been like, you're crazy, because I was only running a mile or two or 3 days a week. But at some point I was like, you know what, I'm going to push myself and see how far I can go. And so stepping out of my comfort zone is what led me to finishing Goofy and finishing it well. And not to say that it wasn't hard, because it was, and it's what's given me confidence to think, hey, maybe I can do Dopey too. So stepping out of your comfort zone and seeing what you can do, can lead to some amazing things. Even if I hadn't accomplished my goofy goal, or even if I don't accomplish the entire completion of Dopey, I know that going through that training process, that 28 weeks, that, you know, I will grow in some way. Even if I hope I complete Dopey, but even if I don't, I know that going through that process and doing those runs and doing it with my friends and watching other people's videos, you know, we all grow together, and it's amazing things. So don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. And yeah, the other word I wrote was growth, which I just talked about. You have to step out to grow. All right, last one, day 40. We all must calculate the cost of following Jesus, regardless of the hardships, especially because Jesus promised to make up for anything we leave behind, in order to follow him. Looking back is a distraction to our walk with the Lord. Looking back leads to drawing back, and drawing back leads to being entangled again in our souls, to the very things we left behind. And she shares the story of Lot and his wife, where they were told to flee the city because it was getting ready to be destroyed, and Lot's wife looks back and she turns into a pillar of salt because they said, do not look back. And it's just a very intense visual of what they're talking about. And she talks about how nostalgia isn't always the reality of what happened, that sometimes our mind can distort what has happened in the past, you know, to remember the good aspects, maybe not all the aspects. And she talks about when the children of Israel left Egypt, you know, there were several points when they were in the wilderness that they're like, man, we should have just stayed in Egypt. And us reading it with the hindsight, like, why would you want to stay in Egypt and be a slave? But they weren't remembering the fact that they were in slavery. They were remembering, oh, we had better food than we do with this, you know, instead of this manna out in the wilderness. Their nostalgia wasn't really remembering that whole slavery part. So I thought that was a good example. The only way to truly move forward is to let go of everything holding you back. Jesus told us to, quote, go into all the world and preach the good news to everyone. That's from Mark chapter 16. They are the fearless lovers of God, they being this generation, saying that we need to be fearless lovers of God, an uncommon breed, with enduring and radical faith. We need to have abandoned ourselves to press on toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. And that's taken from Philippians chapter 3. Stay the course, don't look back, run with me. And we're done, 40 days. I hope that everyone has an excellent weekend and is having an excellent Easter. Like I said, hopefully this will actually go up on Easter Sunday, and I can accurately say Happy Easter. But even if this goes up on Monday, I hope everyone had an excellent weekend. Happy Easter. If you're training for springtime, that's like next weekend, so that's exciting. I hope that you feel ready and prepared, and even if training didn't go the way that you thought it would, just go out, do your best, have the best time. I feel like it would be hard not to smile at least once on those courses, but just enjoy the moment that you're in. And if you have moments where it hurts, it's okay. Everyone is probably going to hurt at some point, especially during a half. But 10Ks and 5Ks can hurt too. But just remember, you're in the most magical place. And I hope that springtime goes well for everybody. Give this video a like, comment if you're going to be there next weekend. I can't wait to see everything on Instagram and Facebook and all the things. And be sure to subscribe, because now we are done with this and we're getting ready for my first race. Not gonna be racing too much since marathon, the Hell and Back 5K. It will be in just a couple weeks, so we'll be wrapping up training and getting ready to safely do that without hurting my ankle again. Always remember that you are God's masterpiece. Happy Easter, and I will see you next week. Are you ready for the Easter Bunny? Easter Bunny's coming.